Everybody needs to have something going on for
Right.
themselves, because that can be something that can create the next Amazon, next Apple. So all of us have potential. And two, it's like if you can get a job at a 9 to 5, you can create your own, because apparently they saw something in you.
Right.
So all of us have that potential. It's just we have to, especially in our communities, we have to think about ownership. Powernomics is
Family.
Hey, what's up with you, King? I appreciate you, man, coming onto the platform. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anytime, man. Starting off, I've seen your page. I've been following you for a while. I love everything, that you have going on. How'd you get started in entrepreneurship? How'd that start for you?
First of all, I want to say I appreciate you sharing your platform.
No problem.
I appreciate you doing a podcast and reaching out to people who are proven to bring about some type of conceptual application to the culture.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to say I do appreciate you extending your platform so that we can engage in some good conversation.
Hey, that's huge, man. Much appreciated.
Good. So I'm sorry. So what was the question, family?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Just seeing, your page, I've been following you for a long time. So seeing what you're doing in entrepreneurship, how did you start this journey, becoming a business owner, entrepreneur, everything? How'd that start?
It started when I was about 10 or 11. My grandfather is by law my step grandfather. My stepmom raised me.
Wow.
And her father took me under his wing to teach me things that my dad just couldn't at the time. He was a businessman.
Yeah.
And he owned a tax and accounting business.
Mm.
And on the weekends and in the summer, my papa used to take me with him to the office. And in the summer times, I stayed the entire summer with him.
Wow.
And my papa used to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. My papa taught me discipline. My papa taught me what was possible. My papa was the first black man I ever saw with a foreign car.
Wow.
And so when I looked at like the type of man my grandfather was and is, when he walked inside of rooms, people used to tend to him.
Gotcha.
When he walked inside of food places, sometimes we didn't even have to exchange currency because they just wanted to say that they fed my papa Dennis Fisher. Wow. And when I saw that, that was my first exposure to entrepreneurship and the possibilities of being able to be a staple for my family. My papa used to be a Santa to every person, every house in our family. And so that was my start to entrepreneurship. That was when I saw the possibility of what doing for self could look like. And then from there, it kind of just my intrigue on learning the skill set of becoming an entrepreneur began to start kind of diving in from there. But I've been at this as a student to entrepreneurship since 11.
Wow. I love that, man. Seeing how you've taken that leap, so many young black creatives and entrepreneurs have taken that leap from going from that 9 to 5, then, created your own business. For people who's afraid right now to take that leap, what advice would you have for them?
The reason why people are afraid to take the leap is because most people don't lack the skill set to succeed. Gotcha. And your fear is literally because you can't lie to yourself. You can lie to everyone in the world, but you can't lie to yourself.
That's facts.
And because you lack the skill set of selling, of finding customers, finding clients, and being able to survive on your own, that's what brings the fear of jumping out there to do it for yourself. And so, like I said, I started at 11. So I started from being a runner for my papa's tax company. Then I went from Then I went from doing that to selling candy. Then I went from selling candy, working on salesmanship. Then I went to working at a snow cone shack, only operating on tips. Then I was sweeping hair. But all of these things were me working on my entrepreneurial muscle along the way.
Yeah.
So when people see what I have done in a short period of time, they miss all of the training I had 13 years before I turned into a full-time entrepreneur. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so the reason why people are scared to move forward is because we lack the skill sets that are required and that are needed for us to be able to thrive in the way that we can. And so I just think that people need to stop looking at entrepreneurship as a side hustle, or stop looking at entrepreneurship as a come up, as a 4-year plan to never have to work again, and start having some respect on entrepreneurship and treating it like a career that it is. Any career, you got to get education first. And then from education, then you go to your internship. Then from an internship, you have an entry-level position.
That's facts.
Then from an entry-level position, you begin to move up the corporate ladder. Well, in entrepreneurship, it's the same exact way. You start off in entrepreneurial school, where you're learning the skill sets that are required for you to be successful. Then you then you get into internship. Internship is paid learning. So what is paid learning? It's when you first start making sales, but you really don't know what you're doing. It's when you first start getting customers, when you really don't know what you're doing. It's when you first start to do those things, but you have the comfort of a job that takes care of your primary responsibilities. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And then as you begin to get better, you begin to start having more confidence in yourself, and then you start making a little more money, and then you start making a little more money. And then what happens? As you climb the corporate ladder, you typically what? Now you're responsible for a team. So as you begin to climb the entrepreneur ladder, now you begin to hire staff and employees. And so the climb of the corporate ladder is the exact same climb of entrepreneurship if we look at it the same. But the problem that we have when it comes to us succeeding as entrepreneurs is that we think of entrepreneurs as a side hustle and as a come up versus putting some respect on it, like the baby said.
Yeah, hey, you preaching, man. And I feel like, too, our age group, sometimes we probably want things like overnight. So I think that some people get into it thinking, yo, if I quit this 9-to-5, start my business, I'm going to be making money off the rip. So how do we stay patient as well, like throughout this whole entire journey?
First of all, the best way to stay patient is to not have a stopping point. The reason why I hate when I coach people, I hate when they say my goal is to make $1 million. Well, if your goal is to make $1 million, you have put all of your force into an end stop. So when you finally get to $1 million, you stop. You lack purpose, you lack mission. But when you think of entrepreneurship as a consistent journey of serving God's people, see, there's no end stop to that.
That's
and
fact.
when you realize how long that journey is of uplifting and providing service to the people of God, then what you're going to realize is that, what am I rushing toward? What am I trying to get to? What am I trying to become? So the problem that we have as entrepreneurs is you trying to get to a dollar amount, and you're putting stop and starts on yourself.
That's
and
real.
Then watch this. You're challenging you're judging yourself because you haven't made a certain amount of money, when in truth, what you need to be doing, you need to be focusing on impacting the people that you're serving, because you'll get a lot more fulfillment with people loving what you do. So the reason why young entrepreneurs are always so down on themselves is just simply because we have a false sense of understanding what true entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is the service or serving people in need. And so when I serve people in need, what are they in need of? Whatever product that you're serving. And it's just like church. It's a continual obligation to fulfill these needs. And it's an always ever growing journey. So when I know that the journey is ever growing, there's no stop to me. I'm just going to keep going.
I love that, man. I love that. And two, how do we tap into our purpose? Because I know sometimes some people struggle with finding that purpose. So how do we find that?
Well, first of all, we have to identify what passion, purpose, is, because a lot of people think that passion and purpose is interchangeable.
Right.
But the true definition of passion is a barely controllable emotion. That's the true definition of passion. So when you think about passion, passion is only fuel. Now watch this. Now watch this. Notice what happens. A lot of us, when we're passionate about something, we always run out of fuel. 1 minute we're passionate about podcasting,
and it burns
and then
out.
that runs out.
Yeah.
And then 1 minute we're passionate about selling cars, and that burns out. One time we're passionate about real estate, and then that burns out. Then we're passionate about finances, then that burns out. Because passion is, by definition, a barely controllable emotion. All passion is fuel. Okay? Right. And so we got to understand, what is fuel? What can fuel us? What fuels us is education. And your purpose vehicle can only go as far as the fuel that you have.
There you go. Yeah.
You can't get to Florida with enough gas to get you 5 minutes up the road. So you got to put enough gas in your car and even refuel a couple of times on your destination to wherever you're going. So watch this. So passion is fuel, and fuel is knowledge. So a person who lacks fuel lacks knowledge, lacks the fuel required to get them to their destination. They will always fall short. So watch this. So we got passion. The next thing is purpose. Let's address what purpose is. Purpose is nothing but a vehicle. And everybody spends so much time trying to find the vehicle that you never try to discover your destiny, your destination. So I can be so caught up in trying to figure out what type of car I want to drive, but you never figure out where exactly are you going to drive the car. Right. So you're going to have a pretty car, but it's not going to move anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
And so your purpose is just a vehicle that is used to get to your destination. And depending upon your destination will determine if your purpose is good enough for it. I'll give you an example. You ready?
Yes, sir.
If I got a hoopty, a hoopty is only good enough to get me to point A and point B.
Yeah.
A hoopty is not a fit to take me across the country. So that means that if I want to go to a further destination, I have to change my vehicle.
Wow.
And so when I get into a nicer car, see, the nicer car can get me further, but a nicer car can't get me overseas. So I would have to change my vehicle to get me to my next destination. And the further your vehicle, the further your destination, it means that you have to have a different vehicle. See, our purpose is just a vehicle. And we spend so much time trying to talk about the purpose and the vehicle of choice that we get blindsided, and we get a blind on the actual destination, your destiny. Yeah. And that's why all of us keep changing vehicles. And you get nowhere. It's almost like a person that leases cars. Every 2 years you lease a new car, but you aren't changing your destination.
That's real.
And so what we have to understand is that passion is fuel, purpose is the vehicle, but the true goal is your destiny, your destination. And when I'm able to determine my destiny, my destination, it will determine which vehicle I need to use at the moment.
That's a bar, man. You're giving free game right now, bro. Free game. And speaking on destinations and vehicles, sometimes on our journeys, we'll go through bumps in the road. And some people get discouraged and some people quit. How did you stay focused on knowing I'm trying to get to this certain point in life, even going through trials and tribulations?
I think because I look at passion, purpose, and destiny like a true vehicle. Every vehicle needs a tune-up. Every vehicle needs gas. Every vehicle needs oil. And sometimes your vehicles need new tires.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get a transmission. Your transmission or your engine has to get replaced. Because life brings about hardship on your vehicle sometimes.
That's
And
real.
a lot of people believe that on your journey to your destination that there won't be traffic.
Yeah.
Like there won't be any crashes along the way.
That's
Like
right.
there won't be things that you didn't foresee that happens to you. Have you ever went outside and you knew you was going to get somewhere and you looked at your car and said, damn, it's flat?
Yeah. Yep.
And you're frustrated.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you won't get to your destination. It just means that you're just delayed for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you got to learn how to change your tire so that you can put your spare tire on. And it may not be there to get you there for life, but it's there long enough to get you to your destination. Delayed but not denied. And a lot of us, the reason why we get frustrated is because, especially millennials, we think that delayed means denied.
Wow.
And it doesn't mean denied. It just means that sometimes you need to go get your mind and your body and your spirit checked up to make sure that you have the right fuel to get you to where you need to go.
That's it.
So we got to understand that. When we understand that, it will put us in a position of authority to know that I live, like, I'll give an example. When I drive a car, I don't wish that nothing happens. I expect something bad to happen. And I pray for it never to happen. Why? Because if I'm expecting delay, but I'm hoping for a clear road, it doesn't hit me like I'm unprepared.
Right.
But a lot of us think just because I got tunnel vision, I know exactly where I want to go, that there won't be a little traffic along the way. You have to plan for traffic. What does that mean? That means that procrastination cannot be in your vocabulary on your road to success. And a lot of us, because what we've done, we looked in a GPA and we said, oh, it's only going to take me 20 minutes to get there. Oh, to make $100,000, it's just $8,333 a month. I know exactly what it takes to get there. But the problem is that you didn't put into the equation traffic. You didn't put into the equation a flat tire. You didn't put into the equation these things. So procrastination makes you think you can get to your destination still on time. But because you didn't prepare for the worst to happen, now when the worst happens to you, you feel like the worst has happened to you.
Wow. Dropping bars, man. Dropping bars. Something that I love, too, that you constantly talk about, and I've learned just from watching it, is about debt and how you pretty much have broken down that debt is not of God. Could you please expound upon our concept of debt and how we can start living debt-free lifestyle?
Why do we get into debt?
From my personal opinion, I would probably say from us wanting to buy things to look cool, or us being trained that I have to get this mortgage or I have to get this car note.
And why is that? We get into debt so that we can have things that we can afford today.
Consumerism, yeah.
And so the reason why we get in debt for our businesses is because you want to have what you can afford today and you're willing to pay for it tomorrow. And a lot of us, what we don't realize is that when we put ourselves in debt, what's happening is you're telling God, because you don't want to go on his time and you don't want things to happen for you, you want to borrow against your future to have your future today. And in your future, you have to pay for what you borrowed yesterday.
Wow.
This is what I mean by that. Debt. In order for somebody to have debt, they have to borrow. They have to borrow money from a bank to use money they don't have. They borrow money from a bank and they're willing to pay interest so they can go get something that they currently can't afford. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And the only time that you're in debt is if you have something in your possession that you currently have that somebody else paid for, but now you're paying them off for paying it for you. Correct?
Right.
And so what happens is debt is not something that is new to us. A lot of us deal with debt on every aspect of life. We just don't know exactly how we deal with it. Here's an example. A lot of times what happens, I'm going to go relationally so you can understand that what you do in every aspect translates to money. A lot of us, because we want to get married before our time, or we want to get into a relationship before we're ready.
Yeah.
Then we have a child before we're ready to take responsibility. Well, we can barely afford our life, but we want to be grown, and now we got a child that we can't afford. Not only on top of that, we already couldn't afford our life. So what's this? I borrowed from my blessing tomorrow so I can have it today, and I end up paying tomorrow for the decision I made yesterday.
Wow.
What do you mean? I'll give you a prime example. Me, when I was in college, I just had to be married because I just had to show everybody Jake had it going on. So I got married before I was ready as a man. And then I had the responsibility of a wife, and I had the responsibility of a daughter that I could not afford. But because I wanted what God had for me too soon, I am still paying the debt of the decision I made, even though I'm not married to that person anymore.
Wow.
And what happens is debt can look like a blessing until you're paying the debt when you're no longer using that blessing. Because I've never met a God that gives a blessing and then makes you pay a debt to the enemy. I ain't never met a God that said, hey, here's a blessing, but I'm going to make you do payment plans in interest. I ain't never met that God. I ain't never met that God. But what happens is we got what I call circumstantial what's the word I'm looking for? I was about
circumstantial.
I'm looking for. We have consequential debt.
Got you.
And watch this. We pay debts based on the consequences from the decisions we made. What does that mean? See, I got a car I knew I couldn't afford. The car gets repoed. Aren't you still responsible for that car debt? You are no longer paying the car note. You no longer have the car, but you're still responsible for the decision you made, because God deals in consequences. It's a cause and effect God. And if I want my blessing before it's time, my blessing turns into a burden. Anything that turns into a burden now is something I cannot bear. And this is why most people are not financially free, is because they borrow from their future to have their future today versus waiting their turn for God to give them exactly what He's going to give them anyway.
Wow. That's
so I just waited my turn. So it's easy to me not to be in debt, because biblically it says that the borrower will always be a slave to the lender. It's a fact. If you do not pay the lender, they will come back and confiscate their shit, correct?
That's right.
So when people say, I bought a car, when people say, I bought a house, did you really buy it or did the bank buy it? Now you paying rent back to the bank. Who bought it? I'm confused. Because how can you say God blessed me with this car, but you went to the bank for the bank to buy it? This is the psyche of the mind. It's no different than a father and a mother telling their child Santa Claus gave them Christmas gifts. Santa Claus didn't give you no damn Christmas gifts. Your parents worked their ass off to buy you gifts. See, this is the same mentality that we feed ourselves. Santa Claus, no, Santa Claus ain't do that. Your parents did. God didn't bless you with that car. The bank paid you, bless you with that car. Now you're paying a debt back to the bank.
Jeez.
So it's easy for me to be debt free. I see it. I said, why would I want to be a slave to the lender? I want to be the bank. I want to be the bank. And if I want to be the bank, I have to assume what the bank assumes. And the banker don't assume a risk like we assume risk. The banker doesn't live beyond their means. The banker understands the importance of cause and effect. But the banker makes money on people because they foolish.
Wow. You preaching, man. I'm loving this. Militant Women of God said, what do you think about education and about loans? In the comments.
Education. Everybody needs education. They said Jesus was the light. So what let me give you an example. What does light do?
Provides brightness. You can see. Gives life, everything.
You can see. What happens when there is no light?
You can't see.
And why can't you see?
It's not bright enough. It's no light.
And is it easier or harder to navigate in a room when it's dark?
It's way harder. Yes, sir.
Is it easier to navigate in a room when it's darker or when it's lighter?
When it's lighter.
Why is that?
I can see everything.
Now, is it easier or harder for somebody to run up on you in the dark? Is it easier or harder for somebody to run up on you in the dark?
In the dark, it's way easier.
Why is that?
You can't see them coming.
Yeah. But when I got the lights on,
you can see everything.
Yeah. And when the lights are on and I still allow you to take advantage of me, that's on me. See, education and knowledge is like the light. And what Jesus was trying to do, all he was trying to do was bring light to a dark mind. That's all he was doing. And in education, there's no way that you can be enlightened if there's a lack of education. Do you need education and knowledge to be enlightened? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's look up what the definition for enlightenment is.
Okay.
We're gonna look up that definition. Because when you look at these words, you realize that it's all saying the same thing. And so the definition for enlightenment, by definition, is the action of enlightening or the state of being enlightened. So let's look up. It's the state of understanding, the state of knowledge. That's what enlightenment is. Well, how can I understand something that I lack knowledge in? So the enemy wants to keep our lights out. Why? Because we can be taken advantage of when there is no light. But the moment I get knowledge of self, I realize who I am and whose I am, and I can no longer be taken advantage of. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
So militant woman of God, the lack of education is darkness. Let me ask you something. You may not be in the word or like that, but I wanna ask you a question. Do you know anything about the Bible?
Hey, I'm a PK, man.
Okay, so Jesus said the kingdom of God is where?
It could be in your heart.
Okay, he said the kingdom of God is within. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Okay, the kingdom of God is within. Okay. Where is God? Well, where do the church say God is? Where is God?
The church don't say he's in heaven.
Okay, what? He's in where?
Heaven.
Where is heaven?
Exactly. Like they'll tell you it's in the sky.
Let's answer. Where do they say heaven is?
Above the sky.
Above.
The clouds. Yeah.
Above, right?
Yeah.
So if Jesus said that that we have the kingdom of God inside of us, where would God's heaven be? Inside
of us then.
Okay. If God's heaven is inside of us, they said that the kingdom of heaven is above. So where's the highest place in your body?
It's your mind. Yeah.
God wouldn't be as low as a snake. God would be in your mind. In your highest state of your mind is your subconscious. That's where heaven is. And if the lights are out here, it's impossible for me to know who I am.
It's facts.
So in order for you to be enlightened,
You have to gain knowledge, light. Jesus was light, to gain knowledge of who you are, so you can realize God ain't no pie in the sky, but he's always been inside of you.
Right.
So education is very important. But we just have to ask ourselves, what education are we getting? Somebody said, what do you think about uniloans? I don't borrow money from the bank, so I think nothing of loans. I don't borrow money. I don't borrow money because I would much rather get it when it's my time. So people say, don't you want multiple things in real estate? If it's in my time, I'll get it.
It's meant to be.
But what happens is we want to borrow money so we can have our future today. Well, the future you, if you took your time, is see, let me ask you something. A young man that's just in real estate that gets $1 million of loan for the real estate and goes and buys properties, right? That's man A. Man B, he started off with a little property. And over 20 years, he worked himself up to multi-million-dollar properties. Who do you think is more knowledgeable to maintain these assets? The young man who went and borrowed $1 million learning from YouTube, or the man who took his time to build his portfolio 1 year at a time? Who do you think is more knowledgeable to be able to maintain the asset?
The one who took his time by far.
See, work. Let's look. Work is hold on. Let's look up what work is. Work formula. We're gonna look up the work formula. Work is distance times time. It's I'm sorry. It's force. Hold on. I'm gonna get the.
We got physics right now.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get the physics formula for work. We're gonna get the physics work formula. Work is force times distance. So a lot of us say, I'm doing the work, I'm doing my work, I'm doing my work of God. We applying the force, but we don't want the distance, the time. Now what's distance? Distance is the space and time from where you are, from where you want to go.
That's right.
Distance is the space in time from where you are to where you want to go. And so what happens is we want to do the work, but skip the distance.
It's the process.
But the man that takes his baby steps and he works and he builds a company from scratch and then doesn't borrow money, he has to learn how to be a good steward over what he has. If he wants to grow his company, he got to use delayed gratification so that he can hire a staff member. But somebody who wants to jump the distance, they'll go borrow money from the bank, and they never learn the importance of stewardship. See, in order to be a good entrepreneur, you have to be really good in the art of stewardship.
You got to serve. Yeah.
But what happens is if you go jump the gun and go borrow money from the bank, you are missing the strength that comes in putting work in over a distance. See, what happens is, who do you think is stronger? The man who runs the distance, or a man who drives the distance? Who is stronger?
That's actually a tough question right there.
Who is stronger? The man who runs. No, I'm talking about physically. It ain't tough.
Oh,
the man who runs.
Oh, yeah. Who's running it?
Okay. Now watch this. Who do you think is more fit? The man who runs the distance, or the one who always drives?
One who runs.
Okay, why is that?
Because, like, when you're running, that's cardio. If it's a distance, I mean, you probably already know when you go to the gym, most people don't even try to hit, like, the treadmill. So running is way harder.
Watch this. And what it does, even though driving a car seems easier, running builds your heart muscle.
It's that cardio.
Running builds your lungs.
Your legs.
Running sweats out the toxins.
Yeah.
And even though I may not like running, and it may be hard initially, but eventually the running gets easier. While the man is driving in the car, he getting fat and out of shape, and he can't keep up because he eating fast food. But when I run, I know I got to be a good steward over my body. I got to eat right. I got to drink my water. I got to make sure I get my rest so I can keep running a very long time. And a lot of us, because of these gurus, we're trying to skip the distance in the force because we just want it to work. We want the work without the force in the distance. And what we got to understand is that it takes time, evolution of time and development to get to these stages. And as a young entrepreneur, we want to skip the work. We want to skip the force. We want to skip the distance. We just want the formula, the end result. We want the work. We want what work provides, but we don't want to put the force times the distance. We don't want to put the time in. So there are people, and listen to me, I'm telling you this live. There are people right now that driving Rolls Royce. They living in mansions. But when me and my brother and my team, when we get there, you're gonna see a clear difference. We're gonna be cash heavy. We're gonna build a $100 million corporation, never borrowing money from a bank. We're gonna be such great stewards that God is gonna be able to open up doors we never seen before. And the people that y'all are looking up to when it comes to business advice, I can promise you they'll fizzle out. Because they can't go the distance. Because it takes a different type of man that can go the distance. It takes a different type of woman that can do force times distance and not skip no steps. It takes a different type of man that says, I'm going to delay myself gratification to make sure that I am sowing a seed into the company God gave me, because one day it'll all pay off. But if every time things got tight, I always went to the bank, I don't build up the endurance to handle entrepreneurship. I don't build up the endurance to go the distance because I'm always going to the bank to bail me out. See, sometimes you got to sit in pain because the pain is evidence of a consequence of the decision you made. See, when I work out, it hurts in the beginning. Because I'm dealing with the consequence of me not staying in shape. But the more I get in shape and the more my body gets good, the recovery time is so much easier. See, I can go through a crazy workout and tomorrow I'll be fine. But when I first started working out, BX can tell you, I went through a crazy workout. I was out 3 weeks. I felt like I torn something. I couldn't move my arm. I was walking like this, and it's because I was dealing with the consequence of staying inactive. And a lot of us, we want the injections of muscles, steroids. We want the proteins of muscles, but we don't want to do the work and be disciplined enough of force times distance over and doing the same thing over a certain amount of time to get that endurance so that we can get the evidence of our work. We don't want that.
Man, we don't want that. Powerful, man. Right now, what you are doing, Brother Benex, Amir, with this ABS program, what inspired that? And two, what inspired for y'all to actually give people game? Because right now, a lot of people find out how to become a great entrepreneur, but they don't want to share that. So what inspired y'all to take that step back and share this?
Before I started sharing the game, I built a 7-figure financial firm.
Wow.
Before this year, I was non-existent online. I built a 7-figure financial firm, not even being on social media, that we still currently run.
Wow.
And when I met BX, I met Amir. Amir was just a photographer. One of the best photographers in DFW. But Amir had talent, but his bank account didn't show it. We're being transparent here. And Amir came to me when I spoke at an event, and Amir said, what do you do? I want to come work with you. We met, and he's been with me ever since. And then there was another event I didn't want to go to that I went to that BX was there. Me and BX, we shared the panel together, and that was gonna be it because I didn't really like BX's attitude. And Amir's the one who encouraged me to go give my book to BX. So I went and met BX at a barbershop where he was getting his cut, and I went and gave my book to BX. And when I went and gave my book to BX, hold on.
You good?
All right. When I went and gave my book to BX, he and I engaged, and we said, let's meet sometime this week. I began to teach. BX to tell you, I intrigued him from how I set my family up to be worth $410 million just on life insurance alone. Not including the business, not including investments. By the third or fourth generation of the Jacobs tribe, our tribe, my family will be worth $410 million with just life insurance. And when he saw that, he was intrigued by the way I thought about life insurance. Because like I tell life insurance is your ability to buy wealth until you earn wealth. You can buy wealth. People talk about how much they want to leave, a legacy for their family. They're working too hard. All you gotta do is buy life insurance. You ain't gotta work that hard. You ain't gotta put that much pressure on yourself. If I don't make it to building a multi-million-dollar company, my family's already worth multi-millions because of what I got on my meat suit called life insurance. We made it whether I made it or not.
Right.
And so that's out the way. So when I showed him that, BX was intrigued. Nobody's ever broke down insurance like that. So BX actually became my client first.
Wow.
Because I told you I run a financial firm. I didn't even know BX was this big on social media because I wasn't on social media like that.
Got you.
I didn't post like I do. I didn't give game like I do because I was building my firm. I was hiring agents. I was teaching brokers. So I spent a lot of my teaching my agents that we hired. And at the time, when I met BX, we had over 250 licensed brokers in 22 states. And so BX got intrigued and he said, man, I think that people should know. This is what people don't know. It was BX's idea to bring me to social media.
Wow.
It wasn't mine. BX said, I think my audience needs to know about this. And so we did that. And then we set up like a consultation marketing agreement. That's what we set up in the beginning. It was no paperwork, no contracts, no nothing.
Handshake.
I told him, we'll try it out. We'll see, So BX got to work, and the audience that BX had were gravitating to the way I taught private banking and the way I taught insurance. And BX was like, yo, I ain't never seen nobody them respond like this. So we began to get some traction, and BX was like, yo, you need to really get online. And I was like, no, we can just hire a digital team. I don't want to get involved like that. Because I didn't want to be considered a clown like most of these gurus, fake guru. I didn't want to be considered a guru.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I didn't need social media to make money because I was already making money. We were already doing what we had to do. We were already growing and expanding without social media. And BX was like, no, you can expand more because people will be able to see who you are.
Good. It's still there. Okay. I see everybody.
Cool. Y'all need to talk to me. I think we're talking about ourselves. It was weird. The number was like 28.
Yeah, I saw it. It froze.
So here's a small nugget. You can only attract people like BX if you're attractive. And my friend Jared Wilkins taught this, right? My friend Jared Wilkins came into our community yesterday. He said, you can only attract powerful people if you are attractive. And a lot of us are trying to be business partners with these really, really, really influential people, but you're not attractive. You're not somebody where people want to gravitate towards you. You don't have the it. That's what they call it in basketball.
It factor.
And so I told BX, listen, there was no contract. It was no contract. I said, BX, and I told BX. Now, mind you, I didn't really realize BX had this much weight.
Yeah.
And I was like, because like I told BX, I said, listen, and BX can attest, if he's still in this interview. But BX can attest. I said, BX, I said, I don't need you. I just want to put that out here. I just want to help you. Let's see what this do, and if it works, we can be partners. If it doesn't, that's what it's. I'm not making any promises. BX, this is my word. No contract. For 6 months, brother Ben X was trying to prove that he was an asset to ABS.
Wow.
He said, Russell Westbrook don't got the IT like Chris Paul. Yeah, facts. What do I mean? What do I mean by that? This is what I mean. A lot of people, you consider it disrespectful that somebody calls you and say, prove it. A lot of millennial entrepreneurs, we get our panties in a bunch of pride and ego when somebody says, prove it. If you are who you say you are. Don't we say that to God?
Yeah.
God, if you are who you say you are, show up right now.
Make a miracle happen. Yeah.
Don't we do that in our relationships?
Yeah.
If you are who you say you are, just show me. Don't tell me you love me off jump. Show me your love through action. But entrepreneurs, you miss out on so many powerful partnerships because your ego gets in front of your bank account. Your ego disrupts your bank account growing. And I told my brother, listen. I will go to jail for BX. I will do whatever it takes for my brother. I'm the godfather of his children now. That's how deep he and our bonds go, right?
That's huge.
And I told BX, this is before we got tight. Prove it. And I told him regularly, listen, bro, I'm just telling you. I want you, I don't need you. I want you, I don't need you. And BX proved it. I'm talking about we started doing marketing stuff, and I was at 3,000 followers in February.
Wow.
No paid advertisement.
Wow.
I'm at 21,000 followers.
That's huge.
22 here in a second. Organic growth. So BX, when I started to see all these people was coming, because we had like a little tracker. We had a tracker on who all Brother Ben X referred. But we start getting crazy, like numbers out the wall. We already doing 100 to 150,000 a month. Me and BX my firm without the ABS Institute, we were already doing 100 to 150,000 a month with our firm. We was already doing that. Already.
Wow.
So my first $100,000 month was in 2017. I'm 29. That was 3 years. I was 26 when I first had my $100,000 month. $156,000 in 1 month. So I mean, I've been doing it, right? But BX's value, watch this. When your value supersedes your ego, your bank account grows.
That's a word.
But when your ego supersedes your value, your bank account diminishes. And a lot of our egos are superseding our value, which is why your bank account still ain't moved. And what my brother did, my brother showed the truest form of what leaders do. Leaders say, oh, prove it. Let's go. And he proved it. And I didn't bring back up a partnership for 6 months because now I want to see his heart. BX, his partnership with me, he only wanted to make $500 a month.
Wow.
Let me try to call him real quick.
Wow.
He only wanted to make $500 a month.
That's humble.
Hold on 1 second. He didn't answer. All right, so it can't be clout if he's my business partner.
Right.
But he only wanted to make $500 a month, right? It'll be clout chasing if he wasn't my business partner.
Yeah.
Clown. Y'all acting like clowns right now. You acting real clownish. So BX I only wanted to make $500 a month. One day BX called me and he had like this board. And it was all these different avenues of how he wanted to make money.
Right.
And he said, with y'all, I just want to make like $1,000 a month. I said, BX, you ain't realized we already paid you $2,000 this week? He was like, I didn't even notice, right? and so what happened was our business, our firm, we were spending maybe $20,000 to $45,000 a month in advertisement just to make $100,000 to $150,000 a month with our firm. We used to do direct mail. When BX came on board and he showed us how to take advantage of using digital real estate, social media to grow, we kept the $100,000 to $150,000 a month and spent $0 in ads.
Wow.
So imagine that, right?
Wow.
We doing $100,000 to $150,000, but it takes $20,000 to $40,000 to do it. Using Brother Ben X's social media techniques, we eliminated our entire ad budget and still was making the same amount of money.
That's unheard of.
So like anybody, you gonna say what? Hey, let me partner.
Yeah, hey, let me holler at him real quick. That's how it goes.
Hey, it's time to sign that contract, dog. we go to lock up. So he and I became business partners, and he and I
love it.
We actually have our family, his family and my family. We have an LLC holdings where we're about to get in real estate, and our families. Our family, his family and my family, we have a family holdings, Jacob's X Family Holdings, and we're going to start doing real estate together. Like that's my brother for life now, right? And so he went from BX went from this is why I love BX, because BX went from sharing, and he talks about his story all the time. He went from sharing a room at his in-laws house. You know, he was paying rent for a room at his in-laws house to having his own house, paying cash for him and his wife's car. He ain't lacking on money. And it all came from him becoming my client. He seeing value in me seeing value in him. And then what happened was, when we began to do that, we built the ABS Institute in February.
Wow.
We built the ABS Institute in February of this year. And we built it because the private banking blueprint was taken off. It used to be called I Am the Lender. Because of Brother Ben X's strategies, our stuff began to take off like all across the country. And I've been teaching this 3 years, but because of Brother Ben X's marketing strategies, our stuff went global.
Wow.
Global.
Wow.
So February, from February till today. So we built the ABS Institute. When we built the ABS Institute, remember it's February. So we had the I Am the Lender course, right? The I Am the Lender course. We had that. And that was kind of doing well. And Brother Ben X's digital real estate course was actually called Paid to Lead.
Wow.
He and I were doing a show, and I was bragging on, how BX saved our company. Because BX if it were not for Brother Ben X's marketing strategies, we would be a struggling financial firm right now, because the world shut down.
That's facts. Yeah.
So if it wasn't for us applying the digital real estate strategies, our financial firm would be non-existent. we would be struggling right now. I would have had to fire some people. But because of Brother Ben X's marketing strategy, it saved our company. And now we took our entire company completely online because of Brother Ben X's vision when it comes to marketing online. So that's when people be like, Brother Ben X, is this real? I'm a living witness of his strategies. I'm a living witness. And it's just crazy. So that began to blow up. And then we were literally on a podcast. And it's funny when you think that you're saving somebody else and they end up saving you too.
That's powerful.
See, that's when you know there's true value.
Yeah.
See, I thought I was coming to save my brother from bad business deals and people taking advantage of him. And he came to save me from COVID destroying our entire family. So it's funny how when you have true value, there's an exchange of value that can't be seen. And so my indebtedness to Brother Ben X, I'm sure he feels like I'm sure he feels like there's an indebtedness that he feels toward each other. We are both indebted to each other. We both changed each other's lives. We both need each other at this moment in order for us to be able to continue to do God's will. I truly believe it was God's will for me and Brother Ben X to get together. I believe we're David and Jonathan. I believe that we are two likeness that come from different worlds. And I appreciate him so much. Paid to Lead was his course. So Paid to Lead was the course. We were on live, like a live podcast. And on this live podcast, we were talking. And when we were talking on this live podcast, I was talking about how he pretty much saved our company. And he was talking about how when I came into his life, it helped change his financial life. So we were like both just talking about exchange of what we've done for each other. And then we renamed the Paid to Lead course to Digital Real Estate, because we began to break down how it related to real estate, and we renamed on the live podcast Digital Real Estate. We put some more courses in digital real estate. We doctored it up, we marketed it together, and I put the I Am the Lender private banking to the burner backseat. And we went all full force with digital real estate because it's not about ego. It's what about the need of the people at the moment. And so we got behind digital real estate. We got behind Brother Ben X, and we began to push BX. We began to, elevate that. So the ABS Institute actually used to be called the School of Transformation.
Wow.
That's what I built it. We renamed it the ABS Institute. Assets Before Splurging, because the School of Transformation, that was mine. And we weren't transforming nobody. We didn't have no students. So we restructured, we rebuilt it, we did the whole thing. And digital real estate became the primary business online course inside of the ABS Institute. And since February of this year, we've done over $692,000 of sales. So that is February, March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months.
6 months of that.
And our first month, we had $250,000. We made $2,500. The first ABS Institute made $2,500. Because this is how I do business, right? Because I don't borrow money from the bank. We're extremely cash heavy. And so I can't afford to invest in a business that I don't know will work. And so every business endeavor, we start from scratch. No new money.
Love it.
We back?
Yes, sir.
So we started the Institute, no new money. The first month, we made $2,500 all month. Second month, we made like $11,000. And we thought, I was like, man, we're having $500 days, $200 days. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The next month, so what the point I'm making is, it was 6 months, right, for the building of ABS Institute. We made the bulk of the $692,000 in 3 months. because the first 3 months it was like progressively like growing, and then it's taken off since then. Well, we'll hit 1 million. We'll hit 1 million. We'll hit 1 million. This is what, September.
Yeah.
We haven't even done paid advertisement. All organic.
That's crazy.
We're doing about $275,000 a month just with the Institute, not including we already have a 7-figure financial firm. And so we're already doing $275,000 a month with the ABS Institute, and that's without paid advertisement. Wow. And so we are just now about to do paid advertisement, and based on looking at our numbers and looking at our algorithms, we'll be at $1 million a month by October.
Goodness gracious, man.
So yeah, so that was how the ABS Institute kind of got going. Mogul Mears is more like our PR. He's the guy, that gets us, us seen, podcasts and stuff. But yeah, that's the relationship with me and my brother, man. Took something that was, something, and we made some of it.
I love it, man. Jake, last question, bro. You giving us all of your time. I appreciate it. Before we leave, where do you see yourself, your business, everything within the next 5 to 10 years?
Myself, I strive to become the best version of myself every day. So 5 years from now, I'll be the best version of myself.
Same thing.
5 years from now. As far as the company will be a $100 million company in the next 5 years, and we're going to prove that you can build a 9-figure company without borrowing money from the bank. We're going to prove in the next 5 years we're going to kill every excuse anybody has, and we're going to show people that God works. We're going to show people building a God-like business, bringing spirituality back into the workspace, and we're going to prove that. We're going to be global. We're already in 8 different countries.
Wow.
Our concepts, we're going to continue to expand. We're going to continue to bring life to the dead. We're going to continue to help the blind see and the deaf hear, so they can see that God is within. We're going to continue to do that. But the biggest thing that we're on a mission to do is to prove God works. And so we're going to bring, like I said, spirituality back into the heartbeat of business, because business is a spirituality. What we do is God. God said in the Word of God, it said, the greatest among you will be a servant of all. That's what the Word of God says. Well, what does a businessman do? He serves people. He or she serves people with products, goods, and services. And so we're going to separate the veil, and so people can be able to see that the only thing they've been missing in their business was God. You've been depending on the bank and not depending on God. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to prove that the enemy's system comes with some type of trick, and we're going to show people that God's system works, and we're going to stand firm of not borrowing money. We're going to stand firm of getting what's supposed to be ours, and we will be a $100 million company.
Amen, bro. Jake, thank you for your time. Keep doing what you're doing, King. This interview will be posted on our YouTube channel probably sometime this weekend. So I got you.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. I appreciate you, brother.
Anytime. And you be good.
Yes, sir.